This is Luis Sando of FightHype.com here with Joe Goossen. Joe, I want to talk some boxing with you today. A lot of hot topics going around. One of them is Triple G Canelo. Just first of all, what do you think about that matchup, Joe? Because a lot of people want it to happen. We're not getting it yet, but if it were to happen, how does Joe Goossen break that fight down?
That would be a great fight. You got a 60-pounder versus a 54-pounder who would presumably probably come up. I doubt if Triple G would go down. They may meet at a catch weight if it was ever made. But I think it's an interesting fight because you got two guys that are willing to fight. Neither one of them are runners. Both of them like to go for the knockout. So, you've got two aggressive guys. I don't think there's anything better than two aggressive guys that actually know what they're doing in the ring. So I love that fight. I guess the next question would be, who should be favored in that? And you're always going to give a little bit of edge to the bigger guy. I think, but not much. I think Canelo's, got the frame to carry that weight anyway. So I think it would be, on paper, a pretty even match. I would probably give Golovkin the edge because of maybe a little bit more height than Canelo and a little bit more reach and a little bit more weight. Plus he's really good. I think he may have a few flaws in his defense, not many. Abel Sanchez done a great job with him. But you got to be careful with a guy like Canelo because he's very accurate. So if you're in the middle of throwing a couple of left hooks, you better have that right hand up real good against somebody like Canelo. Or if you're throwing right hands, you better not have that left hand down like Amir Khan did, because he'll snap one in there real fast on you. It's powerful. He's a powerful guy. I think either one of them could hurt either man. So, then it boils down to athleticism. Who's the better athlete? I think they're both pretty damn good athletes. I think Canelo's a little bit more predictable. I think Golovkin can adjust a little bit more. I mean, pretty much get the same Canelo every fight, but and that's not a bad thing necessarily. So I'd probably give the edge to Golovkin in that, but it would be a tremendous fight in a pay-per-view boom, right?
Absolutely. So when you say pay-per-view boom, a lot of people the promoters are saying this fight will be greater later. At least Oscar De La Hoya is saying that. We've seen that with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, where the fight just got built up to a lot. Does this fight need to get built up, Joe, or would you rather just see it now and for the fans?
I think a guy like Mayweather had the luxury of being a one-man show. He could, shadow box and, make 50 million. I don't think either one of these guys have that luxury. Maybe Canelo more because he's got such a great following. So I think these guys should get it while the getting's good, Now, would there be a little bit, could there be a little bit more time in between and each guy, fight a couple of guys that would inevitably put them together? Maybe on the same card, who knows, but I think they probably couldn't wait as long as Mayweather and Pacquiao did because they were both entities unto themselves. I don't think Golovkin or Canelo has that same status as Pacquiao did. They were like above and beyond, almost even really good earning fighters. They were in the pay-per-view stratosphere. So I don't think either one of these guys are there entirely yet, and it may be years before that happens because, if you look at Pacquiao and Mayweather, they were well into their 30s.
Yeah.
Before they started becoming legendary. And, Canelo's, mid-20s right now?
Still a baby with so many people.
And Golovkin's probably a little bit older. He's probably around 30, maybe.
He's actually older. He's 34, I think.
He doesn't look it.
No.
He doesn't. He's well preserved.
Yeah.
But, so I think within the next year or so, there should be something going down because there's not that many marquee fights with two marquee names right now. And I think Golovkin and Canelo certainly are that right now. But, the fans want to see the best fights, They want to keep seeing guys get eliminated and years go by and then eventually they fight. You know, I mean, at a certain point, you know, it kind of takes the luster off of the fight when you wait too long.
Sure.
You know, other guys come on the scene, other things happen. You know, you got to roll the dice while they're hot. But in Mayweather's case, it worked out okay. I think the fight probably would have been better between Mayweather and Pacquiao years before, when they were talking about 50 million apiece, or whatever, 50 million for Mayweather. But it proved much more financially profitable by waiting as long as they did, because the stakes went up fivefold for Mayweather, at least. I don't know Pacquiao's numbers, but I'm sure they both did quite well. But again, a little diminished capacity versus the legendary status, and then making the biggest money they possibly could. I think it was brilliant gamesmanship on the part of the behind-the-scenes chess being played. And I think, you know, Al Heyman was probably the orchestra leader on that one, and he's a brilliant guy, so it, you know, I'm sure the fans wanted to see it earlier, but the parties involved knew it would be financially more profitable if they waited, and they did, and it certainly was very profitable.
And at least we saw it.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.